In the freezing silence of Alaska, Wang Yibo turns, only to see the one man he never expected to face again. And what happens next breaks the entire ETU crew into tears. Alaska, a land where the wind screams like a warning and the cold slices through even the strongest resolve. Explore the Unknown Season 2 had just wrapped one of its most brutal climbing sequences, a 120-meter granite wall that left Wang Yibo covered in ice dust, breath shaking, and eyes burning with adrenaline. The crew moved around him quietly, trying to protect the final few hours of fading daylight. Yibo stood there with his red harness still tight around his waist, holding his helmet with trembling fingers. His face was pale, lips numb, but there was fire in his eyes, the kind fans knew well. But then everything shifted. From behind the base camp tent, a lone figure emerged. At first, no one paid attention. The parka was black, the mask was low, and the beanie hid nearly the entire face. But there was something in the way this figure walked, or rather, rushed, that made time slow. He wasn't just approaching. He was fighting the distance. He was outrunning something no one else could see. And when he pulled down his mask, the entire set froze. It was Xiao Zhan, the same man who had not shared a single public moment with Wang Yibo in nearly 7 years. The same name fans had whispered through storms of nostalgia and unanswered memories. For a heartbeat, even the wind seemed to stop. Yibo's body stiffened instantly. His helmet slipped slightly in his grip, breath caught halfway in his throat. His eyes widened, shining with disbelief, then something deeper, something that hurt. The crew didn't speak. They didn't breathe. They simply watched as two worlds, once inseparable, then torn apart by distance, collided again in the coldest corner of the earth. And from the way Xiao Zhan walked, his eyes red, his breath uneven, it was clear this was not a simple visit. This was something heavier, something he had carried across oceans. Then came the whisper, cracked by cold and emotion. Lao Wang. The moment the nickname broke the frozen air, Wang Yibo moved. It was instinct, pure, raw, unfiltered. He didn't think. He didn't hesitate. His feet simply ran. The harness tugged at his waist. The rope dragged behind him through the snow, but none of it mattered. He ran like a man, trying to compress 6 years of silence into a single heartbeat. He collided into Xiao Zhan so hard they nearly fell. The helmet slipped from his hands and rolled across the ice, echoing like a forgotten memory. But Yibo didn't care. He wrapped his arms around Xiao Zhan's neck, burying his face there, as if anchoring himself to something he feared he might lose again. His shoulders shook, not softly, not subtly, but violently, like the sobs were tearing through him from somewhere he had kept hidden for far too long. Crew members later whispered that they had never seen Wang Yibo cry during any ETU climb. Not during storms, not on cliffs, not even when injured. Yet here he was, shaking, silent, breaking open in Xiao Zhan's arms. I was scared you wouldn't come, he finally choked, voice shredded by wind and fear. I was scared you'd really forgotten me. Xiao Zhan didn't answer with words at first. He simply held him, one hand in Yibo's damp hair, the other gripping the back of his jacket, as if steadying him, steadying them. Around them, cameras lowered. Jimmy Chin bowed his head, visibly shaken. One of the female PDs wiped her eyes with her sleeve, pretending it was the wind. No one dared interrupt. No one dared break the moment. In the middle of those mountains, surrounded by ice and breathless silence, two silhouettes trembled in an embrace that felt like it had waited years to happen. When their breathing finally steadied, Xiao Zhan lifted Wang Yibo's face gently, almost reverently. He wiped away the tears with his thumb, careful as if touching something fragile. Then he spoke, half breathless, half laughing at himself. 20 hours on a plane, 3 hours on a helicopter from Anchorage. My manager nearly killed me for running off set, but I had to see you climb this with my own eyes. A cracked smile appeared on Yibo's face, his signature crisp laugh breaking through the storm of emotion. You're insane, it's -18 out here, Zhanji. But what came next stole the breath of every person watching. Xiao Zhan reached into his parka and pulled out a faded denim jacket. Wang Yibo's jacket, the one from the Untamed training days. The one he left behind in 2019. I kept it for 6 years, Xiao Zhan said softly. It still smells like your old perfume. For a moment, Yibo didn't move. He simply stared, like he was looking at a piece of a past life resurrected in the snow. His fingers trembled as he took it, clutching the worn fabric with a tenderness that felt almost painful. Then he hugged the jacket first, before pulling Xiao Zhan back into his arms. This time the embrace was slower, deeper, but the tears still fell silently down his cheeks. "Don't leave again," he whispered, and Xiao Zhan replied without hesitation. "I'm not going anywhere. This time I'll wait, no matter what cliff you climb." Behind them, the sunset washed the snowfield in a warm red glow. Two figures stood in the middle of a frozen wilderness, wrapped in a reunion that felt too raw, too fragile, too impossibly human to be staged. The moment did not end with the sunset. People on set quietly shared what happened afterward. That Wang Yibo chose to sleep in the same tent as Xiao Zhan that night. Between them lay the old denim jacket, like a bridge rebuilt after years of unspoken distance. For the first time in a long time, crew members whispered that Yibo slept peacefully. No nightmares, no restless tossing, just calm breathing, steady and soft, as if the mountains themselves had granted a temporary truce to all the storms inside him. These are the kinds of moments the entertainment world rarely sees. Moments too real to script, too emotional to plan, too vulnerable to turn into broadcast content. And yet, it was those very qualities that made this reunion echo across hearts, whether fans believed in destiny, loyalty, or simply the quiet gravity between two people with a complicated past. Because the essence of their moment was never about fame, never about trending tags. It wasn't even about cameras. It was about two people standing in the coldest corner of the world, choosing warmth in each other again after years apart. A secret flight, a jacket kept for 6 years, a trembling nickname whispered into frozen air, a hug that didn't care about the consequences. Some connections don't need explanations. Some stories don't need scripts. Some people simply find their way back. This story resonated far beyond the icy mountains of Alaska. Not because it was grand, but because it was deeply human. It reminded us of something quietly universal. That distance doesn't erase real connections, and that some reunions feel like they were written long before they happened. For anyone who has ever missed someone, for anyone who has ever waited, for anyone who has ever been afraid to hope, this moment hit differently. If this story stirred something in you, hold on to that warmth a little longer. Because sometimes, even in the coldest places, hearts still find their way home.